Drinking water, capital outlay.
I
Let's see
think
here.
I
Yeah.
think we're live. Be careful what you say. No takebacks, Mr. Lowry.
Well, I was looking through this 5-year capital and I was trying to look for, Man Shack dedicated funding. I don't see it. They must have it under some other word or something or another. But anyway, hey, we're live.
We're live again. Show number, what is this? 192. The next Tuesday, Aftermath.
Gluttons for punishment, I say. Gluttons for punishment.
Yes,
So
we've
what is
taking
on
a beating 192 plus times for the citizens of Bossier.
and we just keep on ticking.
Keep on ticking. Taking a licking,
Anyway,
keep on ticking. All right, so what are we going to talk about tonight?
yeah, that was my $1 million question because I have no clue. I
I
feel
mean,
like I am just on cruise control here and I have no idea what's going on.
well, I'm about the same way. I mean, after two two shows, back to back weeks where we had some very serious information to share. I mean, that takes a lot of energy, and we've gotten a lot of good response from it. They have been two of our more popular shows. We've gained followers throughout, so we appreciate all that. And well, again, we're back.
Yeah, so I think what's on tap, and I don't even have the notes in front of me, but I think what we have on tap is what's this? You got the little notes on our little cue card there in front of the show. Personal
Oh,
attacks. What's that
yeah.
about?
Maybe I should read what I have on the screen. Well, during the Charter Commission meeting that they had yesterday, make sure I got my days straight, which I did not attend and I didn't watch it streamed live. We have gone back through it, but it was mentioned about some personal attacks in there. And that's it wasn't a whole lot really, honestly, worthwhile at that particular charter meeting. I mean, I encourage everybody to go watch it, but we'll point out a few highlights. And one of them was that, apparently there were some personal attacks and there was some discussion about that. Not much discussion, but some discussion about it.
Well, yeah,
Speaking
and
of speaking of personal attacks, before we get the comments, did Kara poke you in the eye?
what makes you say that?
Oh, your eye's bloodshot. Maybe, maybe. No, look the other way. As long as you look
Her,
that way, you're okay. Yeah.
her,
Okay.
what do you got? Like eagle eyes? What the heck are those? Are those
I
like binoculars on your head?
I have to pay attention to these sorts of things. I'm the video and the tech guy. The details guy.
I mean, look, okay, I
Did you
can't tell a
backtalk
lie.
her? Did you backtalk her again?
Look, I went to bed. I had clear vision. I didn't have any deficit. I woke up and apparently I'd been beat in my sleep.
Oh,
I,
that I wouldn't doubt. She
I,
probably tucked you in and got busy with the skillet.
I woke up and I mean, I got blood pouring out my eyes. So the only thing I mean, you know,
Yep.
if
See,
somebody wants to do an investigation, Kara is not being nice to me.
all right. So she put the truth in the comments here.
But
She,
wait a
she
minute.
said
Here's
he
the
got
evil
sassy. I
thing.
knew it.
Here's the evil thing. Then she shows up at the side of the bed with a fresh cup of coffee this morning, and then it's like, "Oh, darling, what's wrong with you?"
She probably said it innocently too. What's wrong? Gee, what's wrong with your eye?
I mean, good grief. I mean, this is like a bad version of Throw Mama from the Train or something.
Well, I I've never understood what I call the lifetime movie syndrome. Do you know what that is, Duke Lowry?
What is that?
Well, I don't know about your wife, Kara, but my wife and a lot of ladies like to watch the Lifetime movies on the Lifetime channel. And usually it's, some woman that has a bad marriage, gets the fool beat out of her, and then she ends up killing her husband or shooting him or something like that. I've never really understood that because, guys that abuse their wives, which they should never do, because you have to sleep. And when you go to sleep, your wife can just as easily tuck the sheets in real nicely and go get the skillet and beat the fool out of you. I mean, why would you risk something like that?
So you're telling people they should go watch Thelma and Louise or something like that.
Thelma and Louise is good. Y'all should go back and watch that. Remember, we had a starring role and didn't even know it.
That's right. All right, guys. So
Uh,
We're going to cover a little bit about the Charter Commission. There were some interesting things that took place, there that yesterday. You had a city council meeting today. There was a few interesting things that took place there. A little boring, but things you need to know. And
Right.
we'll talk and give a little bit of update on the term limits lawsuit, or the end of that,
Right.
and the beginning of this new stage of this term limits battle. And you went to the Cypress district. There was something. There was an auction at the Cypress district.
Well, they're going to have an auction. They've apparently got some, unused, no longer used equipment, some vehicles and all that sort of thing that, they've been paying insurance on and whatnot. And like they were taught, one of the things they were discussing was I call it the Rangers trailer. There's that trailer when you go past the gate right there. I think it's on the left going past the gate. That, like, I think John Oswick said nobody stayed in since like 2018 or something. And it's like a brand new trailer sitting there. So anyway, they were talking about all that. So they're going to have some things up for auction. So, and they discussed a few other things I'll mention after the break and after we get to it.
Yeah. Hey, there's a couple of things we need to talk about. We got a little bit of a report on some issue pertaining to the school board and school system. Maybe I shouldn't say the school board. I mean, it's such a big thing. The school board, the school system, the school system.
Right.
Something to talk about there. A few other little interesting tidbits, and I think we ought to go ahead and go to break because I'm thinking we're not flowing across all platforms. I didn't get a notification on Facebook, but I think we should go ahead and go to the break.
Well, yeah, I know we're on Facebook because some of the comments are coming in there. I guess I'll have to check and see about YouTube. But yeah, folks, y'all know the drill. We're gonna hit the countdown and our little intro. That takes about 3.5 minutes. Tag and share this out. Let everybody know that we're online. Tag some friends and all that sort of good stuff. And we will be right back.
A lot of the back office on the politicians that they think walk on water, they would be shocked. There's an old wound from a knife in my back that just is giving me heck lately, and it's just really irritating. So I have to kind of wiggle around a little bit.
Well, I've not heard my name in stable or Baton Rouge in stable in the same sentence in a long time.
I titled it "A Shot Across the Bow of the Good Old Boys."
Just, they feel helpless, they don't feel heard, they have nowhere to turn.
Some Republicans as well believe that government has the answers. And let me tell y'all something. I don't know anything government does well. Nothing.
Aren't there laws that say that you have public meetings so that the public can have accountability of their elected officials?
They're making a little bit of progress, but I would definitely have to give the race to Caddo Parish right now.
I don't know. Is there anybody from Plain Dealing watching, you think?
As a member of the media, I'm very concerned about what I've just heard.
Did you not requisition some money to fight against this or for it?
We hired a lobbyist, and it cost us $15,000. We were opposed to HB 630.
So for this week, folks, the cockroach of the week, according to bossierwatch and Duke Lowry and Rex Moncrief, is
Raymond Cruz legislative assistant, Allie Feaster Smith. Thank you, Allie. Well, I'm not thinking Star Wars at all. I'm thinking zombie apocalypse. No way. It was not David. You know it wasn't David Montgomery. David ain't going to jump off in there with Chris. He ain't going to do it. He'd as soon spit on him as he would even look at him. Man, this is a Mickey D's Krispy Kreme week. Didn't you know? Who's paying y'all? And if you're driving on the roads, are you safe?
It's on the road, yeah.
Well, I know you're on the road, but I mean, is this all folks coming from the border down there?
Yeah, it's going to border. It's actually going to Mexico and buses.
Doesn't mean they interpret it the same way that I do. For instance, the Second Amendment. I take it very literally. That's been interpreted different ways in the court system all the way up to SCOTUS. Yeah, that's only going to cause more division that he claims he doesn't want to cause. and it's only going to cause more suspicion. We're still right now combined on both pages and YouTube at 264 people watching. That is amazing, folks. Coleman Project, the Walker Place deal, through conscious, shocking actions. The purpose of their actions was to stop plaintiffs, being the Earl Coleman and associated groups and all, from developing Walker Place. But here's the key thing, which in turn would enrich sitting city council members Scott Irwin and David Montgomery Jr.
You hit the button. Does that mean that people are like seeing us sitting here talking and chatting?
In theory, you know, it's an every week thing. We got to double check and make sure it's like a miracle any of this actually works. This Bossier Watch live broadcast is brought to you by the Outdoor News, fishing and outdoors for our area. Acadiana Mortgage, over 25 years in the mortgage business. Pelican Training and Consulting. Reach out to Julie Ferris. Smarter Geek, making technology easier. And folks sharing information and watching out for Bossier. Now, grab your popcorn and a drink. Here we go. And, again, here we are. I got to get me a new spill. I say that every show.
Yeah, you do. I mean, you got to freshen this thing up because people are getting bored. I mean, just look at the number of people paying attention tonight. They've had enough. You've bored them out.
We've only got like 50 or 60 people watching, which we appreciate every one of you. Very dedicated people to join us on a Tuesday evening and listen to us rumble and grumble and rant and rave and get on our soapbox.
Oh, but wait, Rex.
But wait, there's more.
Watch this. Watch this. Okay. So there is something that's going to happen within the next few days that we can mention today that concerns First Church.
Oh, there is. Wait, we got to say the word and delay and say that. Yeah.
Don't say what it is. Don't say what it is. But we're going to announce it here in a little bit, and let's just
see. That's almost clickbaitish. Almost.
That is clickbaitish, ain't it?
Well, we didn't really post it though, so we're doing it inside the show. But like, if I put it in the comments, you know.
But it's the truth. We're not lying, and there is something. We were going to mention it in the show and let everybody remind everybody because we've announced it before. We've told everybody, but you know, things slip by everybody.
I'm intrigued now. I'm trying to think of what it is. I'm running a little slow tonight. Oh, let's see. Thank you, Christopher James Norris. He says the Outdoor News advertising reminds him of the old Field and Stream magazine. Ooh, I'm in good company.
There you go. Hey, Christopher Norris, you would be impressed to know that I have a 1971 version of Field and Stream sitting on my desk in my office. I do.
Really?
I do.
I need to check that out. Wait a minute. I'm a little confused here. You got to help me out. So Colonel Crockett has a comment. We love Colonel Crockett. But he says, you guys never say like, share, and subscribe. Crickets. Do I have a crickets? Yes, hold on.
I don't think that's the case, Colonel. I'm going to have to disagree with you on something.
Okay, well, here, let's do it this way then. We would like for everybody, number one, I did just put this in the comments, and you've seen us post about this, and we kind of soft mentioned it. Everybody, when you get a chance, you can even do it right now in the middle of the show, just come back. Go like and follow Louisiana Watch if you haven't already. Just search YouTube for Louisiana Watch. You'll see the blue logo and all that kind of good stuff. And we've already got some shows, but we're about to breathe new life back into Louisiana Watch. So go like and follow Louisiana Watch too, and we'll share it out too.
I've got to share with everybody. Y'all know a little bit about the term limit saga, but I got to tell you, I have had an epiphany.
Oh, really? An epiphany?
I have. I think I have figured out why Bossier City fought the term limits, battle. I mean, I know why they fought it and why they so strenuously objected to having term limits placed on them.
Other than they're a bunch of arrogant, well, I'll be nice, they're a bunch of arrogant folks.
Well, it's that power trip thing. But no, the real reason is, did you know that there is a term limits retirement home
What?
for politicians?
Uh-oh. Sounds like I need to make sure I got something queued up. But no, I did not know.
Oh yeah, you should have something queued up. But did you know
Welcome
that
to-
there is a term limits retirement home for politicians?
Why?
I mean,
No, I did not, Mr. Lowry.
it is a legitimate thing, and I think out of fear of being sent to the term limits retirement home, I think some of them, that's why they had the objection.
Well, that may be true. So let me do the magic of changing screens here in just a second. Let me get this. Why is it not showing me a nice screen? Hold on. All right, hold on. I gotta get this going here. There we go. Okay. Had to make my screen play nicely. Dadgummit. Technical difficulties when you try to do this on the fly. There we go. Okay, let's is this
Yeah,
the
see
term limits
there?
retirement home?
Yeah, and they even have interviews on here. I mean, y'all
Wow.
are gonna love this.
Wow. All right. So let's play this and see what this is all about.
The Term Limits Retirement Home, starring House Drinker Nancy, Crazy Maxine, Moldy Pants Sanders, Prune Juice Soros, also starring Sneaky Diane, Shower Time Joe, Fossil Fuel Grassley, Instagram model Schwab, Moscow Mitch, and Potato Head Fetterman.
All right, guys, we need to come up with a plan to arrest Donald Trump.
Page 45! What about the Stormy Daniels thing?
No, we already tried that. It didn't work.
What about his tax returns?
That didn't work either.
We can go dress shopping.
How is dress shopping gonna get Trump arrested?
I don't know, but I can try on dresses.
Anybody else?
What about Russia?
No, we tried that too. It didn't work. I guess we could give that a try, John.
What if we impeached him?
Page 45!
We already did that. Twice. Didn't work.
The show is going downhill.
I think that's enough. I think that's enough.
Enough punishment. Now that does give me an idea. Maybe I need to get back in the movie making business, a la Thelma and Louise, except with us not being the stars this time.
I think it's out of fear of being put into retirement home is probably why they opposed it so much. So,
yeah. All right. So, well, there are a lot of reasons. So, do we want to go ahead and go out of order since we're on that subject and discuss the term limits lawsuit and kind of the summary version of it? Now, let me remind everybody. You did a great interview with Louis Avalone and Stephen Parr. What's their show? Oh, American Ground Radio, their radio show. You did a great interview with them that I've already posted on bossierwatch. So we would encourage everybody to go listen to that. It's about 4 or 5 minutes long. But why don't you give us the summary version of that interview? What happened?
The bottom line was we had a petition, and it all the components of what was required were there. People can say whether or not voter ID is inclusive of all of the data that's required by statute. All of those components are there. And the thing is who reads a petition? Who is the one that has to make the determination as to whether or not all the components are present, whether or not there's valid signatures or not? That is the registrar of voters, Stephanie Agee.
Right.
And if she can look at the voter ID and make the determination of what the year of birth is per statute, that's on her, not anyone else.
Well,
she wasn't.
Let me cut you off for just a second because you said that's her and not on her and not anyone else. But there's somebody else or something else to actually blame in this. Where did the original form come from?
Well, the form and the manner or whatever came from Stephanie Agee and by virtue the Secretary of State's office. Okay. They provided the form, that we used. So, it wasn't that we just arbitrarily decided to, leave something out or what have you. I mean, that's what was provided to us, and we went with it. But you know what? In retrospect, that's fine. Because we were able to show the citizens of Bossier what their elected officials were really about. Because uh, Mayor Chandler put forward something to his credit. He supported term limits. He put something forward to his, credit for them to take action on, and they still chose to not take any action. So the bottom line is they can say that, oh, it's just technical, and we didn't want to do something like Richard Ray enunciated today during the council meeting. He said, well, look, we wanted to make sure it's right so that 20 years down the road, somebody didn't file a lawsuit. Okay, well, and, Councilman Maggio, if that's the way y'all feel, then that it was just simply because it technically wasn't correct, well, then it's lucky for you. We've got another petition going, and you're welcome to sign on to it now.
Well, look, not just that. So maybe you or the colonel, if he's in the crowd, can correct me if I'm wrong. But if what Richard Ray, which is just parroting what Jacobs originally said, is true, if that's all they were worried about, you know what the city council could do of their own volition? Oh, they could enact an ordinance to alter whatever the exact process is, to alter the charter to put the term limits in on their own. They don't need a petition to do that, right?
Let me do you one better.
Okay.
They have a charter commission right now. They could each one right now send a letter to their person that they appointed, saying, we want you to do nothing more than put forward a recommendation to us to adopt term limits or to put it on the ballot the way the petition put forward.
Mm-hmm.
And let's just move forward. Let's get it done. But how many of those councilmen, they're not going to do that?
Oh, wait a minute. I hear some of the councilmen. Crickets again. Imagine that.
Yeah. So now they have a charter commission, put forward because they already know that there's a secondary petition going. They know that it's going to come, around by this fall. And this next charter commission, everybody get ready for this. What's going to happen if you have two propositions on the ballot competing against each other? One from the Charter Commission with term limits that's not retroactive, enabling David Montgomery and Bubba and Darby and Free to be able to run till the day they die, or one by the Charter Commission that says you guys are term limited, you can't run no more. You've done freaking been in there for a lifetime.
Look, I've been on Tommy Chandler's rear end repeatedly in the last several months about his PR and marketing for the mayor's office. But the truth is, the dumbass councilman, Christopher James Norris just commented, you could see Montgomery smirk as Richard Ray was explaining how the city won. No, Queen David, you guys have not won. All we've had to do is just very easily show everybody, and you guys have done it masterfully during the city council meetings, where you actually stand, which is against 80% of the electorate out there, at least 80%. All you've done is shown people that you stand on the opposite side of that. And look, let's go down the list. The Bossier Parish School Board has term limits, correct, Duke?
Yep.
Our state legislators have term limits, correct?
Yep.
The president has term limits by the Constitution now because of FDR, correct? The House of Representatives and the Senate currently do not, but that legislation hadn't been put forward yet. Thank you, Speaker Johnson. But there's a big initiative towards that, so hopefully we'll be able to see term limits come about even in the halls of Congress. So it's not like term limits are some new thing that you have to do. So all you guys have done, Queen David and your ilk, is just reveal to the citizens exactly where you stand, which is against 80% of them. Thank you very much. We'll just keep running you through the mud. It's okay with us.
Well, I think, and look, we wasn't going to make this show, and we're not about his appointee to the Charter Commission, but I think she made, her position and represented, her appointee's position quite clear on term limits in the last couple of Charter Commission meetings. That she's
Yeah,
not
I don't think
supportive
we
of
even
term limits.
I don't think we even did we get to that last week? I think we may have touched on that. But look, Preston Friedley is in the comments here, so I'll put this one on the screen. He says two of the councilmen have asked us to put on term limits on the November ballot. Chris Smith and Brian Hammonds have sent the Charter Commission letters. If I remember correctly, and correct me in the comments, no other city councilmen have put forward any suggested changes or revisions to the Charter Commission at all. Now, and I think Tommy Chandler may have. Correct me if I'm wrong or right, Mr. Preston.
Well, and I'm going to say this with all due respect to Mr. Friedley, but the Charter Commission is, I, and I don't mean this to be offensive, but I don't think they're going to be successful. They may end up generating a product that goes to the public, but I, I don't think they're going to be successful.
Well, they're set up for failure.
They're set up for failure. Yeah, that's.
Now, I will say this, and I've probably mentioned it a couple of shows ago, that just from reading the tea leaves on the Charter Commission, I think it's probably split pretty much down the middle: pro-term limits, anti-term limits. Maybe leaning a little bit towards the term limits side. So we're lucky in that respect. But look, they set them up with no budget. I mean, they're literally in the Charter Commission meeting having discussions about not being able to receive email and how are they going to live stream and and all that. Look, and Mr. Preston, we've discussed this after the other meeting the other day, but you can live stream the thing for free. It literally takes no budget. At the very least, y'all can video it. All it takes is an iPhone or an iPad. You've already got a speaker system that Mr. Jeter has agreed to bring, and Richard Ray agreed to use city resources to make sure they had audio at the town hall meetings. But my point is, they we all know it, but they put the Charter Commission together for a dog and pony show.
Yeah, that's that is absolutely correct. It is a counterbalance to the term limits effort, and that's the first movement that has taken place in Bossier City government in quite some time. It's for the most part been the Montgomery show, and the other councilmen up there can say what they want to say, but that's more or less what it has been. And I'm going to go ahead and say it ever since David Jones left. The only check and balance to to David Montgomery has been David Jones. And when David Jones left, David Montgomery has had free reign ever since.
Yeah. And I mean, look, to Chris Smith's credit and Brian Hammond's credit, they're a little bit of a counterbalance, but they're still trying to kind of get used to the show. Hey, I want to mention something else. So Jeff Sadow's watching in the comments. Jeff, I had a thought, so I'll just announce it on the show because I don't care one way or the other. I want to look at, Jeff, if you already have the numbers, I don't have to go back and dig this up and calculate it, but do you have the numbers for the debt load per capita of Bossier City year over year? So what I want to be able to do is show the progression of the debt load increase per capita from, I don't know, let's say the year 2000 or whatever year, it doesn't matter. We can go back as far as we want. And I want to be able to plot that in either a line graph or in a bar graph. So if you have that information, shoot us an email, bossierwatch@gmail.com. Let me know.
Yeah, and look, I'm gonna throw Jeff a real bone. If you guys didn't read Jeff's article this past week, I think he labeled it Bossier City Review Panel Signals Moves on Term Limits. I mean, you really ought to go read that article on Bossier Views. Really, really good article. Jeff Sadow is on the mark there.
Yeah, and I think I did share that out on Bossier Watch as well, so the link will be right there because, yeah, he did have some, as usual, some great commentary. There he. Well, you don't have to do it right now, Jeff. Just, whenever you get a chance, that would be excellent. Thank you, sir.
So Look, Ferris, you're right. I mean, I'm glad you love that, but my thermostat with multiple kids and a wife, that likes to beat me in my sleep. There are some things that I value in life, and one is the temperature of my environment. So what did I do? I went and got one of those Nest things, and I'm the only person that's connected to it, and I won't give the password to anybody else. So for Christmas, I got this coffee cup. I am the thermostat police. You daggum right.
Yes, we do the ceiling fan and have to have a fan blowing beside the bed. I wear my earbuds at night listening to podcasts and stuff like that to go to sleep so I don't have the noise of the fan blowing. It's crazy. And then anyway.
So
I get
back on this charter commission meeting, let's not
Okay.
get off of that.
Yeah,
So
let's not get sidetracked too much.
I didn't watch it, live as it was happening, but I did get a message, and somebody said they made an allegation, and so I've been watching intently on this meeting. Somebody said they made the allegation about this is what they said. I'm going to tell y'all what they said. They said Lisa Johnson was advocating for only Bossier City residents to be able to have a say at the charter commission meetings. Now think about that for a second.
Well, yeah, and that's a pretty serious allegation. And I did watch the meeting, but I had a different take on it. But I mean, I've got a couple of places. I think one place that we talk about that queued up.
Well, yeah, and I got to tell you, I mean, so I took that pretty serious as well too. That allegation that bothered me quite a bit, and I have went back and I watched this meeting multiple times trying to find that, and I got to tell you, I couldn't find that. That's not what I gleaned from it, but I think you found maybe the part where what somebody may be talking about, and for those of you watching, what would be of significance and what would be troubling is Lisa is, and Lisa, if you're watching in the comments and if you want to chime in, we would love you always have an open invitation to the show. But the inference would be that if Lisa was advocating that only citizens of Bossier could address any needed revisions to the charter commission, being the person that is the leader of the Bossier Chamber of Commerce representing business in Bossier City, that would be problematic because you've got a hell of a lot of businesses in Bossier City. In fact, they had a huge ribbon cutting this week, and I'm pretty confident that the owners of that business don't live in Bossier City. And I would love to know the number of how many business owners in Bossier actually live in Bossier. And if you're saying that businesses don't have a say or shouldn't have a voice in or anything, I think you got a problem.
Yeah, well, and let me put this comment up. So Haygood said he never saw it either. Sadow says, and Duke, you and I were discussing this pre-show, Johnson's suggestion is illegal. A public body can't restrict commentary by residents. And that is correct. I don't think they were trying to necessarily, my take on it was, but I need to go back and rewatch the whole thing to get the full context. But
yeah, and I don't think she said that. I mean, because I've been watching this thing multiple times looking for it, and I couldn't find it. But Rex, you found a passage that maybe where or what the allegation was coming from, and it actually revolved around Amanda Nottingham, Richard Ray having some dialogue, and then Lisa Johnson made a comment in reference to that, correct?
Yeah, that is. So let me play this one real quick, just a minute or two of it.
I would recommend you leave that on there simply because you do want to ensure that I would think the most preference is given to the citizens of the city. While I know we'll receive output from people who may not be residents within the city limits, this will go only before the voters for the city of Bossier. And I would certainly think that would be something you would want to leave in place to give that maybe more consideration.
All right, so I'll stop it right there. So Amanda's got a good point, is that if, the city council actually does what they're supposed to do, And let's say the revisions get put in and it goes before the voters, the ballot will only be for actual residents of Bossier City. But they should absolutely be able to receive input from, people that are not necessarily residents of the city. They may, live in Benton. They may live in, Shreveport or wherever in Caddo Parish or wherever that is for that matter.
Well, I mean, look, the bottom line is there are a lot of stakeholders, and we were just discussing business in Bossier. And, again, that allegation about Lisa Johnson, I can't find it to be, valid. I mean, and I really didn't even get the warm and fuzzy that she said, she was agreeing that I didn't get the limiting people to speak. I didn't get that. I think that allegation is false. But with that
Yeah.
said, the bottom line is there are stakeholders that are not residents of Bossier, like it or not. Yeah, at the end of the day, the citizens of Bossier, you're the ones that are going to vote on it, as is the way that it should be. But business owners and other people in Bossier Parish or stakeholders have a say. I mean, look, Barstow Air Force Base. What if this charter commission comes up with something so egregious that it's offensive to Barksdale Air Force Base? Should Barksdale Air Force Base not be able to have a representative to be able to say, hey, you know what? Here's what we think. I mean, you daggone.
That's an interesting question. Maybe you can answer it or somebody in the comments. So I had never thought about that. Is Barksdale considered part of Bossier City?
I believe it is. I think
Okay.
it is calculated into our numbers for population wise.
Well,
and as legislatively, it's considered part of Doty Horton's district.
But what city councilman represents Barksdale? Does anybody know that? Sadow? Barry Butler says yes. Who's the city councilman for Barksdale? I mean, I just now thought of that, and I don't know off the top of my head. Let us know in the comments. I've had a mind blank here. All right, so look, I've got Lisa Johnson queued up. Let's listen to her for just a minute. This may not be the part of the discussion where they're talking about the residents, but let's see what she has to say for a second.
Not necessarily town halls, but media open-ended things where the community does ask questions. Haven't seen y'all's forum, but hearing from what you're talking about, it really kind of sounds like to me the two questions are almost the same. And it's a very open-ended question when you say, what do you like about it? How about something along the lines of what specific provisions or changes would you like to see included in the new city charter to better reflect the needs and values of our community?
That could be question number 2, I guess.
So because you're looking for specific recommendations for the review charter committee, which is whom you are, to then consider from the general public.
All right, so she wasn't talking about it right there. She was talking about having more narrowly focused questions during the town hall meetings. And I agree with that too. A real open-ended question, somebody could get down the weeds because they have potholes in their street or something like that. And that's not really under the purview of the Charter Commission.
Yeah, but to the allegation, look, somebody made the allegation to us. Maybe it was, clickbait in tech terms. And I think we rooted out that it's not accurate. It didn't happen. I don't think it happened. I've watched it multiple times. I haven't seen it. Maybe you've seen it, Rex. And if anybody else can watch it and point to us the timeline, we'll point it out. But I don't think the allegation is correct.
No, I don't remember it being in there. But again, we'll go back through it a little bit more. So I do want to jump up to one deal, and I'm actually shocking. I'm actually going to give Juliana a little credit. She did have some input today during the meeting. Did you know that, Mr. Lowry?
I did, and I noticed that it wasn't at her prompting. It was actually at the prompting of the chair. But
Yes.
yeah, so
All right, let's hear from Juliana.
I would like to first make a motion to limit comment at these meetings to 3 minutes.
All right, I have a motion. Do I have a second by anybody?
Second.
Seconded by Ms. Woodman. All right, any
I have a
discussion?
question about that. So
Yes,
the
ma'am.
3 minutes, is that per topic or per meeting?
That
Per
would, if I
topic.
may, that would be, because it is a public meeting, you would need to allow a period of public comment on any agenda item on which action is going to be taken.
Right. So
And
we can
so
do
it would
that
be
for
per
our, and
item.
that'll apply both to us at our meetings here, but it'll also be a guideline that we'll try to follow respectfully.
All right, so I'm going to stop it right there. So let me set this up. She didn't, this is going to sound strange after last week's show, but she didn't just throw that comment there out of the blue. You are correct, Duke. Preston had kind of prompted her for that because she had an issue with, he reminded her she had an issue with that at the, I think it was the first meeting or whatever. So she didn't just come up with that out of the blue. He did prompt her, and oddly enough, I agree with having some sort of time limit. I guess 3 minutes is fine for people to speak on a topic. And again, Preston's been real good as the, chairman or whatever of the Charter Commission. It's not like he's watching stopwatch and at 3 minutes exactly, you got to go sit down. So anyway, just want to throw that out there. They did vote to limit the comments to 3 minutes during the official meetings. And then she did make a motion that they limit the town hall style comments or the town hall style meetings to 3 minutes as well, just to give them some kind of guideline. And I kind of agree that they need some limitations. So there, I said something nice about Juliana.
yeah, Larry Hawkins is overachieving. He just sent
I'm not putting that
all
comment
kinds
on
of crap.
Right.
But anyway, thanks, Larry.
Yeah.
And Val Baker, I'm not tracking everything that Val said, but the last thing he said, no, they didn't. Anyway, I'm off in the weeds.
Yeah.
So, look, that was the only thing constructive that I saw came out of the meeting today. I mean, look, I think all of their intents may be good, and but the long and short of this thing is this thing is going to drag out forever.
Well,
they're trying to rewrite the Constitution to the United States. It almost seems like.
and it's interesting because as I was watching the meeting, I put in my notes this comment, and then they did address it. I think Vicki Whitman started that conversation towards the latter part of the meeting, but basically, I mean, they're now, 3 meetings in, and they haven't even really talked about the charter other than term limits. To me, they should already be in the process of just going down the charter section by section, or taking a couple of sections at a time. Again, I think she's the one that mentioned that in the meeting yesterday. But they should already be going through that and looking for whatever things to correct. And because right now, no offense, Preston, but y'all are just spinning your wheels and literally blowing hot air, wasting time. I mean, some of this you got to get the logistics down. I understand.
I appreciate
Right.
them taking their time and methodically. I mean,
Right.
they were breaking down saying how we were going to go over chapters, of the charter and changes that need to be made and doing homework. I get being methodical, but look, time, the most valuable thing any of us have in life. I mean, they're whittling it away, and I just don't know how they're going to get through this process with I'm going to say some of the limitations that they're putting on themselves. I don't know how they're going to get through that. There's no way. I don't know that they can do it in 18 months. I really don't. I don't think they can accomplish what they want to accomplish or what they envision in 18 months. Maybe I'm wrong.
Maybe they'll prove us wrong. And look, I want to be the first to encourage everybody to attend these town hall meetings. Come hang out. I'm going to try to attend every one of them, even when they're not in my city council district. Doesn't matter. And so y'all come at least hang out, hear what they have to say, get your friends and neighbors to go. If everybody in this show got one friend or, one neighbor and one friend to go, we would have packed houses at all the town hall meetings, which would be good.
Well, I'm going to say this. I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say that by the end of this process, you know what's not going to be a part of what this charter commission submits to the council?
Uh-oh. What's that?
It won't be term limits as proposed by the Bossier Term Limits Coalition. They
I'm sure it won't.
They will propose term limits, but it won't be retroactive. It will be such.
No, yeah.
It'll be such that David Montgomery can run for another, 3, 4 terms, whatever it is. That if they submit it, that'll be how it'll be. It won't be retroactive.
That's a given. Hey, I want to share, and so this is going to take care of one more of our points. So this is what I meant by the personal attacks. So I backed up the video here. Listen up.
Important that we keep everything here as professional as possible. I don't want there to be anyone that feels like they're being personally taken to task or anything of that nature. So I again would ask that people direct their questions to each other respectfully. I would like to recognize that Lisa Johnson with the Bossier Chamber of Commerce is here and present.
And she'll be taking donations for her mayoral campaign after the meeting. Seriously,
though. Was Lisa fixing to attack somebody up there?
I don't know. That's what I thought at first.
I'm confused.
But look, I want to address this too. And I also want to say this. I really appreciate Mr. Preston's professionalism during these meetings. I think he's doing a bang-up job. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I totally agree. Totally agree. And we're making light of stuff and joking or whatever, but yeah, I want to say he's doing a wonderful job. He really is.
Right. So, but I want to address this personal attacks. Personal attack is I'm on the charter commission with everybody, God forbid, and Cheatham's sitting over there, and I say, "Hey, Cheeto, I don't like the way you're voting." That. Calling him Cheeto would be a personal attack. Or former Mr. Amigo, that couldn't make it to be CAO. I don't like what you're talking about. That would be a personal attack. Just addressing somebody's views and who appointed them or whatever is not a personal attack. That is healthy discussion and debate. All right.
Look, I just want... I want to thank 2 members of this charter commission because within the last month, they have brought me up to speed on modern slang terminology, 1 being WASP and 2 being see you next Tuesday. Because
we're getting an education.
I ain't knowing what a WASP person is, and I ain't knowing what a see you next Tuesday. I had no idea. I mean, you guys are bringing me into the 2nd century, 1st century, whatever. Y'all are bringing me up to speed. Thank you very much.
I guarantee you we will not get this kind of education watching school board meetings. We just won't. How ironic is that?
If we did, they'd charge us for it.
They probably would. Yeah, we've got something to talk about that. Don't let us skip over in the notes about the school board and charging. That's worthy of a rant and a soapbox. All right. So anyway, that's the personal attacks portion. So I'm going to try to keep up tonight and do some cute little check boxes for everything.
Well, that is all I can take from the Term Limits Coalition. I mean, we made a mountain out of a molehill there, but are we going to stay on Bossier City before we get to the school board?
Let's see. And, I called that the early AM Charter Commission. What was it? 11 o'clock? It really wasn't early AM.
So hey, the Bossier City Council, they had their meeting today, right?
Right. And full disclosure, I didn't watch any of it. So you're going to have to put your saddle on and carry me through this.
Well, the thing is I didn't watch all of it. All I watched was the end, and the end was basically Richard Ray giving the armchair of Judge Craig, putting the smackdown on the petition. But look, hey, to that extent, I want to say, look, everybody knows that me and Colonel Crockett had a leading role in the term limits movement, and we still do. There is still a petition ongoing, the Bossier Term Limits Coalition. We're still moving forward. In fact, as soon as, and we said it, and I know I'm going backwards here, but I think this is the time to do it. You know, we knew as soon as we knew that Bossier City was going to contest the petition that we did, we went ahead and we started another petition. I mean, in fact, even before we realized that there was an argument that they would make, fighting it. I mean, we didn't have any illusions that David Montgomery and Bubba and all the good old
It's just
boys were
going to
going to
give up
fight.
and enact term limits.
Yeah, never.
No, we had
never.
we had plenty of these discussions during the process of the signature gathering, which again, you and Colonel Crockett did the vast majority of. We had these
Yeah,
discussions.
No surprises whatsoever that they did what they did. And look, going forward, we have no illusions as to how this whole thing goes forward. But, here's the thing. This next petition, guess what, guys? Everything is going to change and going to be different. And we are well on our way. I would tell you that in compared to the first time around, we're a whole lot further along than we were the first time around. And anybody that wants to be on board with this, here's the thing. The first time around, they didn't think we could do it. Guess what? Bam.
Yeah.
Showed you could do it. And now the second time around, guess what? They think can't do it again. They think, they can't do it again. They did it once. They put a lot of effort in it. There's no way they can do it again.
Well,
but we've got
what aim higher. The last time we kicked them in the shins, we're aiming about 6 inches, maybe 8 inches, a little higher this time.
And there's more shots to come. Even, let me say it this way. Even once we submit all of these signatures on this next petition, very soon, I might add, and okay, for those of you that don't like curse words, stick your fingers in your ears. So when we submit this next petition with the signatures and the shit show begins again,
oh, they're not going to cry uncle and give up the second round, Duke?
What do y'all think they're going to do this time? I mean, the gnashing of teeth and the squealing will begin again, or do you think that they're just going to say, "Oh yeah, well they got the year of birth on it this time. We're just going to
give up, take their toys and go home.
We're just going to pack it in, boys. Good job. Y'all did good. Look, y'all beat us." What y'all think?
It's like we talked about with the Cypress District stuff and prying Robert Berry out of there and da-da-da-da-da. Look, it took a decade for all that to get screwed up. You can't fix it in 10 minutes. It's taken, what has Montgomery been in there now? 20 plus years?
Yep.
We can't fix this in like 2 minutes. So this is an ongoing process. It is part of the battle, and we appreciate everybody that is volunteered and signed up at bossiertermlimits.com. There's a green help button. Click that. That lets us know to reach out to you. So we do have a list of people started. Whether you're going to sign the petition, whether you're doing that, whether you're sharing the posts on social media, all of that helps.
And here's the thing, guys. It's not a matter of if we're going to win. It's not a matter of if we're going to get the signatures again. We've proven once that we can get them. We're going to get them again. It's coming. The only question is whether or not those of you watching, whether or not you're going to continue to stand on the sidelines or whether or not you're going to get on board and your name's going to be a part of history of changing Bossier City. That's the only question. You either want to be a part of this or you don't want to be a part of it.
So let's point out a couple of things while we're doing the cheerleading session for the Term Limits Coalition. So Michael Ferris, he and his wife Julie have been longtime supporters of the show, and so we appreciate that. So you can stop by Pelican Training and Consulting. That's at 1900 Rossi Lee Drive. They got a little suite. It's kind of back there towards the back, Suite 7000. You can sign there. You can sign at Acadiana Mortgage. Duke, what's y'all's address?
1017 Benton Road, where the big old stinking sign that was bent and blown over by the wind that I haven't been able to fix. So, if there's some legislator that has a complaint about the atrociousness of the bent sign, I mean, by all means, I'd love for them to come by and help me bend it back straight, but I hadn't been able to fix it yet. Yeah, 1017 Benton Road, Acadiana Mortgage. And if you need a home loan, by all means, stop by and see us.
Perfect. Okay, and then also you can go by Crown Indenture Solutions and forgive me, Haygood. I can't
Ryan
remember the
Haygood.
address.
Yeah, that's his
Ryan
name.
Haygood. So can't remember the exact address, but it's over there on Airline Drive, just past the tire place. If I remember right, before you get to the railroad tracks and Trejo's and Two Johns. They're on the opposite side of Trejo's and Two Johns, but in that general area, go by Crown Indenture Solutions.
He's got a term limit sign.
Got a term limit sign
in the front right there. The city, believe it or not, tell y'all a story, went and pulled up his signs, in front of his business there. But he, to his credit, I mean, Ryan Haygood, he got out there and he fought and he got his signs. They're there now. So Crown Indenture Solutions.
Probably who else? Cheatham, does he have the petitions in his office? Was it 318 Realty in Sobo?
He does. I don't know if he does or not. I don't think he does. I don't know, but I do know he's got papers. Him and his wife have petitions, and y'all can message them. He'll come out to where you're at, and Brian Hammonds, even Chris Smith has petitions.
Yeah, there we go. 2136 Airline Drive is Crown Indenture Solutions. Mr. Ryan Haygood. So, yeah, there are multiple places to sign. If you can't find a place, just go to Bossier Term Limits on Facebook or whatever. Send us a message. We'll bring them to you if we have to.
And look, even if you don't live in Bossier City, here's the thing. Once we get term limits affected on Bossier City, even if you live in the parish, by all means, come help us. Because here's the thing. As soon as we get it done with Bossier City, we're moving on to the parish. Because in some senses, the city is not in as bad a shape as what the parish is.
Right.
And there is a lot of attention that needs to be placed there. And we're going to go for term limits in the parish as well, too. So
yeah, the city is just a warm-up. Hence the name Bossier Term Limits, not Bossier City Term Limits, not Bossier Parish Term Limits. We're going for the whole enchilada.
Yep.
Eventually.
We need volunteers. Message us. Come help us.
All right.
So, city council meeting today.
Yes. So how did it go? Was it boring? Was there any fireworks? Anything to really report on? Again, we don't do the flower gardens here. We report the train wrecks. But what happened?
Oh yeah, it was boring. There was no fireworks. But let's just lay this thing out. If you'll go to Cut 9, and I think I've got it labeled capital outlay.
Yes. Let's see. Screenshots. And let me drag this over here. And presto. This is a 5-year capital projects plan summary. So I'm trying to make it as big as I can.
So what people need to understand is that, the mayor's office has to, I think it's every year, they have to put out this capital outlay or put a plan together or submit a plan to say, here's what we're going to do. Here's the plan going forward in the future. And, while we don't have the video put together, I do know that our favorite colonel in Bossier went and spoke, and he made a comment in reference to how you're going to pay for this. I mean, now don't get me wrong. This is just a wish list going forward, and it doesn't mean that it's going to happen, but it was a legitimate point and a legitimate question to say you're proposing, $181 million additional spending, and, you're already the most in debt per capita per citizen in the state of Louisiana, I think is accurate. And how are you going to pay for it?
Was there any response to that or just more crickets chirping when he got through?
Well, I didn't see that part of the meeting.
Oh, okay.
So, our shortcomings there.
Yeah. We're not totally prepared for tonight. Well, the Colonel's in the comments. Colonel, let us know in the comments real quick. Did you get any response when you asked the question just how, I mean, are they going to borrow more money? What's the deal? Are they going to give Jeff Sadow more to blog about with the debt per capita?
Well, if you go to cut 11, there's a few points that we want to, things that jumped out here of proposals that all of you need to have on your radar, and you need to be, and interestingly, in my humble opinion, they're things that maybe we've broached in the past. And
wait a minute. Hold on a second. So first I want to put the comment up. Colonel Crockett says chirp, chirp. So no real response other than, well, they like to borrow and spend. But wait a minute. Am I seeing things here? What is this multi-purpose indoor sports venue?
Well, yeah.
$25 million. What is that?
Well, I don't know. Maybe a councilman, maybe people can elaborate on that. But I got another question. Why is it under the engineering section?
Well, Ruttenbach and all his guys are working pretty hard. I guess they need an indoor sports venue at $25 million, to stay in shape, to lift all the money bags that the city's handing them with their 30% pay raise. There, how's that, Duke? How was that?
I'm wondering about fire and police pay in there. So any of you that are firemen and policemen, former brothers, I just wondering what y'all think about that.
Now, Duke, I'm sure that Ruttenbach and his Manchac guys will have first dibs on, using the sports venue and lifting weights and all that, but surely they'll give the fire and policemen a discounted rate.
I'm just, what? I'm going to point something out. Where is the fire union and the police union and where are those individuals affiliated with those public servants that can be politically active? Where are they in helping on term limits?
That's a good question, because just remember, to those of you that may be watching that may be associated with the fire and police, just remember those same city councilmen that are generally against term limits are also against giving you guys raises again, not to, keep beating a dead horse too much, while giving Manchac employees a 30% increase, over 30% increase, if I remember my number correctly.
I'm going to say this. I'm going to say that if you are a spouse or family member of a fireman or policeman, you should be advocating that, in one of the premier cities of Louisiana, which I would say is Bossier City, why is it that our public safety can't be to the Southern average? Why can't they be to the Southern average? Maybe it's because your elected officials don't want you to be at the Southern average. Maybe they place a higher priority on a bridge to Benton or on a whoops, did I say YMCA? I didn't quite say it yet, did I?
Well, but our good friend Barry Butler and Colonel Crockett have both mentioned YMCA. I'm assuming they didn't use the acronym right there, but this is YMCA Part Due.
Well, let me point out to you guys now. So I'm going to break a little news here for everybody. So the multi-purpose indoor sports venue, while I don't believe that this proposal that the mayor's office put out here for a 5-year capital projects plan to start next year at 10 million, and then 25 all the way up to 27. I don't think that. I do think that's a different deal, but here's what I will tell you. Sources say.
Oh, got my attention.
Y'all heard that? That's that media keyword. When you hear somebody say sources say, that should make your ears perk up.
All right, so say it one more time and I'm going to hit the drum roll.
Sources say that councilmen are being courted by the YMCA people again.
This is like the village people all over.
Well, yeah, it is. But look, I mean, if Montgomery, if the allegations and rumors are true that Montgomery is done, whether term limits come forward or not, which I'll believe it when I see it. But if the allegations are true, I mean, look, he's got to get one more big, you know, expenditure in before he goes out the door. What better way than YMCA?
Mm. What is the obsession with the YMCA? Didn't they end up built? Now, I'm trying to go back in time. It seems like, I think the colonel or somebody mentioned, maybe we're getting a discounted rate. Seems like the last time it was 30 million. I can't remember. Y'all refresh our memory in the comments. And didn't the YMCA end up building a place over in Shreveport or doing something
Well, they
after all
did.
that debacle over here? So what
They
is the
did.
deal?
That's not, yeah, they did, but that's not enough. They built a pool over there, but they didn't have the mirrors on the ceiling over the pool so you could see yourself when you were backstroking.
Uh,
I mean,
Ruttenbuck and Queen David doing the backstroke in a swimming pool with mirrors is not something that I wanted to envision tonight.
I'm just telling you. That's what's going on.
All right, so folks, now again, you know, this is just a proposed budget. Hey, I got a question though. And so,
well, wait a minute. We're not done. You got to go to cut 12. This is just engineering. Engineering's got 25 million for a multi-purpose indoor sports venue.
Wait a minute. So, all right, but let me get to that because some of this other won't necessarily tie to the question I'm going to ask everybody. So, somebody educate me in the comments. I keep saying that tonight. How does the mayor put this? Did Tommy put this YMCA Part 2 on this proposed budget, or was there some discussion among council members to do this? And how did that process happen to get it approved to put on the proposed budget? I mean, how does that work?
Look, I think this come out of the mayor's office. I don't know that the council had any influence on this. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. But I mean, look, everybody else is reading it as that's, you know, that's slang for. I mean, and we don't know our slang.
Oh yeah, let me run multi-purpose indoor sports venue through the Urban Dictionary real quick.
Do you think we could get Chat GPT to run through this and say what does this slang mean, or is any of this urban slang so we would know?
I don't even think Chat GPT uses urban slang, but it could certainly analyze this.
We need to ask it if it does, right? Can't you ask it?
Yeah, I guess we could. Let me keep everybody busy for a little while, and I'm going to get over here and chat. No,
no.
I don't need to get on that sidetrack.
Yeah, but you got to go to cut 12 because look, we're not done with the 25 million for the AKA multi-purpose indoor sports venue or YMCA, as everybody in the comments alleges.
Right.
I mean, I think we've got the most educated viewership probably in the state.
Yeah, we didn't have to say anything. We just threw it out there and it was already magically showed up in the comments. Imagine that.
Yeah, so the one thing I want to point out here is don't zoom in too more right there where you got it. But if y'all all scroll almost to the bottom and you go down there to Tinsley Parks.
Yeah, let me roll it up and let me put a little pointer thing right there for those of you that are watching. All right, so what is this 20 million for Tinsley Park?
Yeah, keep going. You gotta go all the way to the right, but so there's something out there to the tune of $20 million more that they're wanting to do at Tinsley.
Wow. Wait a minute. Hold on. I got to scroll back up. Okay. So, no. Wait. All right. Estimated project cost $20 million. Okay. But those numbers aren't adding up. Are they saying they want 20 more million in 2027?
Well, there's something out there that they're dreaming of doing $20 more million that they're talking about doing at Tinsley. I don't know what it is. I mean, I don't know that there's anything. Well, what is it?
Yeah, what is it, and how does it get on this proposed budget deal again, Sadow, maybe you can educate me. How does it get on this proposed deal without the city council actually discussing it? I mean, did
Ryan
they just
Hagood
email
says,
each other around?
Ryan Hagood says we need to fund some more fields that we can't use. I mean,
Okay. The field of
if,
dreams.
but the point is people in Bossier City, and business owners that are going to be paying the taxes, y'all all need to be on the lookout that we've got more expenditures coming. Apparently for Tinsley, more investment in that, arguably, if you're a citizen of Bossier, you can't rent the field to practice with your teams. I mean, they save it for out of town people for economic development to come in. It's not for your benefit. You pay the taxes for it, but you don't get the benefit of using it.
All right. And this is a total side note here. Am I remembering correctly that somebody told me, I think it was a phone call discussion, so correct me if you remember in the comments me having a discussion with somebody, or maybe it was with you, that we've got like another, I don't know, 30 million, 50 million, whatever the number is. I don't want to say available credit with the tax commission or with the bond commission, but basically they can go get another whatever that number is, if it's 50 million, whatever, with the bond commission, and like they barely even have to sign any papers to get it.
Well, actually, I think it's like 75, and I may
Oh.
be wrong on that number, but they don't have to go do any paperwork. They don't have to do anything. They already voted, and it's already went through everything. It's done, stamped. They don't have anything. All they have to do is spend money.
Wow. All right. So Christopher James Norris, that's a good one. They should rename it from the Field of Dreams to the Field of Tax Dollars. We have the Monument of Tax Dollars, and we've got the Field of Tax Dollars now as well. That's
Now
a good
wait a
idea.
minute.
I'm gonna do a little Photoshop work.
Oh, wait a minute, Christopher Norris. I got to take him to task there. He sounds like a conservative.
He sounds like a cynic, like we are.
I gotta tell you, I'm wondering about that guy over there.
Yeah. And I think, if I remember right, didn't you say you were from like Caddo Parish or Shreveport or somewhere over there? You're across the river. So excellent.
Wait a minute. This is bossierwatch. He can't have a word.
Oh yeah, I invited everybody to join us at the Charter Commission town halls, but well, Christopher James Norris, since you're from across the river, if I remember correctly, I guess you can't join us there because the city doesn't want you. Just kidding, you'd be there come over as our guest.
Yeah,
Jeff,
David Crockett confirms that I'm right. 75
million
is actually what they've already got approved for. So they don't have to go to the bond commission or anything. They've got 75 million, line of credit that they can just go spend whatever the hell they want to do. And then of course, Jeff Sadow, it's a resolution, but no commitment. It may be stuff in the works. Yeah. And that's the point, Jeff. What is in the works? What additional $20 million project at Tinsley is in the works, the same as, are we looking at a $25 million YMCA?
Yeah, I was going to say that the last part of your sentence there, Jeff, that seems to be high for what they have going on. Apparently, you haven't been paying attention to the same Bossier City Council we have lately, because that would not be high for those jackwagons, to use your term, dude.
But the point is, again, and I'll go back to this, and I think I'm right in what I'm saying, the highest debt per capita of any city in the state of Louisiana. And here we're talking about over the next 3 to 4 years, just in two projects alone, $50 million additional dollars to that debt. Now, again, admittedly, I don't know what's coming off within these next few years, but I bet it's not a lot. And where's the revenue to pay for this?
I want to point out one thing, and not to, quibble with Mr. Sadow, because he's spot on just about everything he points out. But $20,346,700 is relatively specific, and so is $20,115,000. I mean, if they were shooting high, they just do $25 million each time and shoot a little high. And if you come in under budget, all the better.
The
So I just
point to
want
the
to point that out.
the point to the citizens of Bossier is you might ought to be paying attention because you got more debt coming on the horizon, and revenue I don't think is increasing. It's only going to decrease in my opinion. Hopefully I'm wrong, but where is the money going to come from to pay for all this? I
Well,
mean,
as you know, I don't want to beat another dead horse. I got to wait. I got to run that through Urban Dictionary too. But our friend Juliana at the evening charter commission meeting, said Bossier City is growing, and she was roundly corrected by Mr. Cheatham and multiple people, including me, that no, Bossier City is not growing. The city is not. The population is actually decreasing. Now, I don't know. Maybe the tax values are increasing as we build more homes and the population shifts, and maybe those homes are more valuable. I don't know. Probably, again, I hate to keep leaning on Jeff Sadow tonight, but maybe he knows if the tax revenue overall is increasing in the city versus the population decrease, or at least being stagnant.
yeah. Well, you know what? I think, and I may be wrong, but I think people are probably heard enough about Bossier City for today.
Nah,
I mean,
nah.
just more depressing. But why don't we go to something more depressing? Maybe another source of tax turmoil for people, in considerations of revenue and debt and blah, 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 blah. The Cypress district, they're wanting some money, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, they're going to ask, again, we've covered this already, but we'll hit it again tonight. So they're going to be asking again for why do I always get it confused? Is it 1.454 or 1.56 mil renewal? I think they're trying to get it on the April ballot. Maybe they already have that in process. Let me get the cuts pulled up here. And I think, didn't you have it? Let's see. We want to do cut one.
Cut one.
Yeah.
I cut one. That's a timeline. Let's
Yep.
refresh. Let's go through the
right.
timeline.
Yeah. So, excuse me. Timeline is Cypress millage rate history. Just real quick. 1958. Act 292 created the Cypress Black Bayou Recreation and Water Conservation District, and they've never actually done any water projects, really. 1963, Governor Jimmy Davis established the first Board of Commissioners. 66, 2 mills was approved by the voters for bond repayment for the initial construction of the lakes. And then 0.5 mills was approved by the voters for operations and maintenance. 1975, the dam was completed and closed for flooding. 75, the dam was completed and closed for flooding. 1995, 1.54 mills was approved 54% to 46% with 39 precincts voting. And I think at that time, that's all the parish really had at that point, or close to it anyway. 2003, 1.54 mills was again approved 68% to 32% with 56 precincts.
Now, wait a minute. As this thing is going on, they keep adding precincts.
Well, yeah, how did the precincts work in the city? I've got to go back and study my civics.
I got to tell you, you keep adding more precincts, which means you keep increasing the revenue. I mean, yeah, I know the cost to do business and the cost to maintain things and all, like, the Cypress district would keep increasing, but over time, it kept increasing the number of precincts, the number of people having to pay in, and, ultimately it ends up increasing the number of mills. So why is it that the money historically, wasn't as much as what it takes now to maintain?
Well, that's a good question. I want to pause right there for a second because we had a couple of comments here. So Colonel Crockett says 2010 to 2020 census shows 2% population growth versus 10% in the parish. Correct, but over the past 4 to 5 years, Colonel Crockett, if you go look at the numbers, the shift has actually been a decrease in population in Bossier City. It's reversed the trend. And Jeff Sadow says, good question offhand, probably a little greater increase in revenues than population. That actually applies here to the Cypress district as well. We'll show the map so everybody is crystal clear on where the taxing district is for the Cypress district. Okay. 2014, the 1.54 mils was approved again, kind of squeezed back down, and the numbers there 57% to 43% with 65 precincts. And then in 2019, they attempted to double the millage and they wanted to go to 3 mils, but that was defeated pretty handily, 66% to 34% with 66 precincts. And I also want to say that was also the year that the school board attempted their 40% tax increase. And so that was definitely not a good year to try to do one for the Cypress district right in the middle of some of their shenanigans. All right, so there's a walk down memory lane with the Cypress district.
So, who all in this new millage increase? I mean, I think in the next cut we will have the precincts. So you'll be able to see if you live in Bossier, you'll be able to see if you are actually in the district that'll be voting on it or not.
Yeah, so here it is. I'll zoom this in, but you can see that it extends. I'll zoom it in as far as I can, but we have a copy of this on bossierwatch, and you can click and zoom in on it. I've also got a PDF copy there that you can download and then zoom way in on that if you need to. So forgive us. I've also got the precincts listed over here on the left-hand side in blue, so you can see those. But as you can see, I'm going to kind of move around as best I can. This is a little awkward here on the screen. But it goes from north of Benton, pretty far north of Benton, stretches over to a pretty good bit of the east side of the parish, and goes all the way down into South Bossier. That's a pretty good chunk of Bossier Parish is under the taxing authority of the Cypress district. You're paying for that park, and you're paying for the $200,000 and $250,000 a year Caddo Parish lawyers, among other things.
Well, the question is some people may say, why do y'all pay attention so much to that right there? I mean, because in the grand scheme of things, the money for the Cypress district, you know what, in comparison to the city, in comparison to the police jury, it's really not that much money in comparison.
But it's the death by 1,000 paper cuts.
Well, that's right. That's right. But arguably, and Rex, you may or may not agree with this, but historically, probably the government body that has been the most had the most disdain for the public has been the Cypress district historically,
yes.
Right?
Yes, absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt.
I mean, it's like the deep state on drugs. They hate you. They have.
Yes.
Now,
in the past.
Now, incidentally, there's change in the air, apparently.
Yeah, I went to the meeting today. We won't belabor that because honestly, again, there was some discussion, but not a lot of it. But I will get that audio boosted because their audio up there still sucks. And we'll get that whole meeting posted so that you can list it. Paul Johnson, let me do a squirrel moment here. He says, what is the total revenue yearly for the Cypress district? I used to know the numbers off the top of my head. I've got their financials posted on bossierwatch if you just search for Cypress and scroll back through them. But I posted all their financials. It's about it varies 1.2 million, give or take a little bit per year from the millage rate. Another 260,000 from the landowner fees and all that. And then, the revenue from the park, but all that gets eaten back up, a lot of it in the expenses of the park. So I've got all those financials posted. As a matter of fact, I've posted them for multiple years. But anyway, all right. So, yeah, so here's a millage calculation. And, look, I'm no tax guy at all, and I'm certainly no property guy, but this is a calculation that I got from using some information from Bobby Evanston, our Bossier tax assessor's office, back when the school board was doing their tax increase. And so I basically, just changed it around to fit the millage rate for the Cypress district. So I'll run through this real quick. This works for a $500,000 home that can claim homestead exemption. So this may or may not apply to you, Butch Ford. I really can't say. But 1 mil is equal to $1. Sorry, I had to throw that in.
Well, why would that not apply to Butch Ford?
Well, I don't know whether he actually lives in Bossier Parish now or not. That's still not resolved in my head.
Okay,
and we hadn't talked about it in a while, so I had to throw
We
it.
haven't. We need to check on his update. I mean, maybe we could get Juliana to comment. I don't know.
Right. But basically, 1 mil is equal to $1 in property tax levy per $1,000 of a property's assessed value. Blah blah blah. Basically, it's 1,000th of a dollar or 1/10 of a penny, and a penny, of course, is 100th of a dollar. All right. So for a $500,000 home that can claim homestead exemption, you take $75,000 off for the homestead exemption. That drops you down to $425,000. Then with the assessed 10% assessed value of the home that the tax assessor's office does, that brings it down to a $42,500 taxable amount. And $42,500 at 1.54 mils, so that's times 0.00154, that's $65.45 per year on a $500,000 house. And surely, Duke, well, if you can afford a $500,000 house, then you can afford $65. Right?
Well, there you go.
But what is the problem with that statement? As a conservative Republican, what is the problem with making that statement? Well, you can afford, because this has literally been made at the Cypress District meeting by Robert Berry himself. And I think, if I remember right, Jerry Fowler made a comment similar to that. Here's the problem with that. It's class warfare. Oh, just because you've got a $500,000 house, you can just afford this and go pay for it. It's only $65, but that's not the point. So I beg to differ that just because you can afford $1 million house, that you should necessarily be okay, with $130 or whatever the math would work out to.
Well, I'm going to bite my tongue here a little bit because I actually submitted some recommendations to the Cypress District. I know that they won't listen to any of it. And look, I'm just going to say it. I know that you've been listening to it, and you have. You're more receptive to what they're saying, and that they're trying to turn over a new leaf. But Asshat's still there, and his compadre is still there, and I don't trust them that they have any intent on changing anything or have any, opinions that they have made any bad decisions. I think they think that everything they have done was justifiable and right in the past.
Well, those two morons, yes. Now, let me just, again, and I'm giving the newbies the benefit of the doubt there. Now, Kelly Long's been there for a little while, but I will just say the attitude has changed there, and the asshats are in the minority. Forgive my language, folks.
But you're saying the attitude has changed, but here's the thing. Has the attitude changed because they need the money and that they've got to kiss everybody's ass because they need the money? I mean, what happens after they get the money and then they say, you know what? Oh, hey,
that's true. They'd have the money again for another decade, but they're going to have to sit through another decade of meetings that get publicized and every little word they say scrutinized. I mean, I don't know. We'll probably be doing this for another 10 or 15 years at least until we have lots of gray hair. But my point is, I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt only because they seem to be much more receptive. There is not nearly the tension in the air. Lee Ayers even shook my hand today.
Yeah, well, that's all fine and good. I'm glad y'all are having a love fest up there and all, but I live up here, and look, okay, I'm going to use this show and this platform for personal interest, right? So I can do it. Y'all can all throw a rock at me. I don't give a damn.
We're
But I live up here
We're
on
amateurs.
the lake.
Do it.
I live up here on the lake. I spent almost $20,000 on a seawall that's fallen in the lake because those jack wagons out there at the Cypress district don't maintain the no wake zones. So all the wakeboard boats and people come flying in here and cause my seawall to fail. And these asshats, the only thing they care about is getting their freaking landowner fee that, oh, by the way, they can just arbitrarily raise to whatever the hell they need to make up the difference of the shortcomings in not having enough money to an open budget that they have no checks and balances on. So they just hold all the people that live out here on the lake hostage. You're penalized for spending money and living out here in Bossier Parish. So with that said, one of my proposals is that people that live on Cypress Lake, people that live on Black Bayou, we have representation, at least one voting member to represent the people who are being hit up here.
Paging Dodie Horton. Paging Dodie Horton. It's going to
No,
take.
why do
it's
we?
going to take
Why do
legislation.
we have to page? Why do we not have to page Dodie Horton? All these people that you're having the love fest up there, they can freaking do it. They can amend their rules and call for the legislators to do it. They can do it on their own. They want to prove to me.
I'm not
they want to prove
disagreeing
to
with you.
me that they're sincere. They need to take it up on their own, and they need to do it on their own.
Here's
not
the easy
not Dodie
way.
Horton trying to force them to do it. Prove to me that you're sincere.
Here's the easy way to do it. No, you're perfectly justified in your rant. But here's the problem is it would take legislation to do that, except if Asshat goes ahead and resigns, that seat becomes open and he's appointed by the town of Benton. But if he resigns, then the board members get to appoint somebody, which could be somebody from the lake, and then at the next appointment time for the city or the town of Benton, then you or whoever, wants to do it could do it. Now, I will say Rodney Madden lives on the lake. He lives right there between, if I remember right, between Mike Collier and Renee and David Hall.
He's already on the board.
Right.
He's appointed by the police jury.
Right.
But I'm just saying there needs to be, because Rodney Madden ain't going to be here forever.
Right.
But if you're going to set, most people may not realize this. For the people that own, and I'm not begging for sympathy from anybody up there. If you live on your own property on any of these lakes, they hit you for additional fees and monies, and there's no limits to what they can. In fact, they talked about that if all of you out there, here's what you need to know: if all of you vote against this millage renewal, guess what? Whatever that shortcoming was, they're just going to put it on all the people that own land regarding the lake. That was one of the allegations that was made to us. And so how, and oh, by the way, none of these people up here have a say. That's not right. Taxation without representation. That goes back old school.
Well, look, I'm not disagreeing with you all at all because there are plenty of issues still ongoing. I will just say in my kind of one-on-one discussions with some of the newbies, I get a sense from them that they realize there was a lot of past issues that unfortunately they can't go back and redo. All right. But they're trying to make changes going forward and literally one of them said today, be more transparent with what's going on up here.
Well, you want to see some transparency? Rex, go back and let's see where all the boat stickers and the free cabins went. That's what I want to know. I want to know what all, and so for, we've lost some people watching the show. Y'all ought to be asking what all elected officials received free boat stickers, what all elected officials received free cabins.
What were they really using that Ranger trailer for unoccupied all these years?
And I want to know about park assets being used off of park property. I want to know, has anybody gotten resolution to those questions? Has anybody?
I do not disagree with you.
Maybe Gary White maybe Fowler, maybe them having been there, maybe they can answer those questions. Maybe the Ayers law firm, maybe they can answer those questions. I'm just wondering.
Right. Look, there's a lot of unanswered questions, and I'm not saying that, Kelly and Rodney and what's Will Hight's first name? I just had a complete mind blank. But anyway, I'm not saying that it's going to be an about face and all that, but I'm just saying that there is at least the air of an improvement and a willingness to try to be more transparent and listen. Like today, we were able to comment just kind of out of turn, although they were kind of asking the questions, and I made some comments on closing the lake and gave them my thoughts on it. And I didn't even get up to speak or whatever. I started speaking, and they were fine with that. Where in the past, that would have been a kick you out of the meeting offense.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So,
they didn't want to hear crap in the past, but now they want to hear it because they need something. But you want to say we're friends. You want everybody to say kumbaya. Then let's have complete transparency. Call for an investigation.
Yeah.
Have they got access to the books yet, Rex?
They didn't exactly address that. They were more talking about going to the new software, but I will guess that they have. And to be honest, I didn't think about asking, what's her name? Lisa Wilhite. I didn't think about asking her. I should have, but
Lisa Wilhite. Okay.
Is that her first name, Lisa Wilhite?
Lisa Wilhite?
Yes.
Are you talking about Lisa Free? Not
or
Lisa
is it Lisa
Free?
Free?
Yeah. The city councilman Jeff Free's wife.
Yes.
That's right.
Is it Lisa Free? I'm sorry, and my apologies to Lisa. I'm thinking I've got Will Hyde on the brain from the Charter Commission meeting and now the Cypress District deal. Lisa Free, sorry. And I will say this. She has been very prompt. The reason we now have the Cypress District map, which I had tried to get from the police jury, tried to get from the tax assessor's office, Bobby's office was very receptive. They just didn't have it. Tried to get it from the registrar of voters office. Lisa sent it over to me like the next day when I requested it.
I'm not saying she's going to be prompt. I tell you what, let's put that information request in for all of the, let's put that request in for all of the boat sticker sales and who got them and the monies that they received. Let's put the request in for all of the cabin rentals and who got them over, how many years now. Let's put those requests in.
Look, you keep mentioning stickers, so I'm just going to say this. Look, it would be, I'm really cheap. It would be real easy for the Cypress District to get me on their side. Real simple.
No, that doesn't.
Get rid of those stupid boat stickers, period.
No, that doesn't do it for me, Rex. What does it for me is the envelope full of boat stickers that went in an envelope to the city of Bossier City. Who all got those?
Good point.
That's what I want to know. So to Lisa and to the new park director and to the board, maybe y'all can let us know. Maybe you can let the public know that those envelopes full of boat stickers, where did they go and who got them? Who paid for them? That's what I want to know. And what about that video? About that video of park equipment off of park property being used for personal? I never heard anything about that video.
Yeah, they're just going to let that go. Off into the sunset with Barry.
But we need to pass and give more tax money to them. We need to entrust them to be able to. You see my problem here?
I get it, but look,
are they listening? I'm wondering. So, Philip Rogers, tell me, what should we do, Philip? Trust? Juliana?
So the comment was made.
Where have you been as a police juror? You sure knew about some of this stuff. It was conveyed to you. And what did you do with the information?
The comment was made without the millage. Of course, certainly the park's gone or have to be dealt with in some way because they can't keep operating it like they are now without that millage. There's no way. And even things like, preparing for the dam. But I'm sitting here thinking, and I was just trying to run through my brain, the other lakes like Bistineau, for instance, Claiborne, etc. If there's an issue with the dam at Claiborne, for example, because in one of the floods several years ago, there was some worry about the dam because it was vibrating so much because of the water pressure against it and all that. Who's responsible? Would it be the Corps? Would it be the state? So I'm trying to think if the worst case scenario happened with the Cypress district, like right now, God forbid, the dam collapsed.
Oh, and Red Chute would explode, and that would be Bossier City. Oh,
it would
that's
probably
right. So
it'd probably be up in my backyard.
So who has been Bossier City's appointee forever that should be on top of that and be concerned about that for Bossier City? And that would be Stonebridge, that would be Carriage Oaks, that would be all that area out there. Oh, your place, right? So if you just dumped all of the lake out into there and the levee failed, that would be all of y'all.
I'd grab a surfboard or a hydroslide and go back there and redneck surfboard.
Yeah, that's right. So that political appointee resigned, and Bossier City had to appoint somebody else.
Yeah. All right. So anyway, there wasn't that much accomplished at the Cypress meeting, but they are going to have an auction coming up in April, coincidentally, along with the tax millage renewal, and they're supposed to post that stuff and all that on their website.
Are they auctioning off a wore out backhoe? 4-wheeler?
Nah, they probably just gave it to him.
I mean, because I know I've seen on video some being used excessively. I'm thinking they probably got the use out of it.
Yeah. Hey, so this is not dealing with the Cypress district, so let's segue off of this. Do you remember our old friend Hal Bundrick? Wasn't that his name? From Bossier now?
Yeah, he said we were dead to him, I think, was the last.
Yes, quote, "You're dead to me, Bossier Watch, you and Duke." That's what he said at a city council meeting. Well, did you know Bossier now has been revived?
No, I did not, but I'm glad to hear it. I mean, regardless of what he thinks of us and how mad he got at us because we blew up his fake poll, I'm glad that he's back because he did put out good content.
Well, I hadn't figured out yet whether it's really him or somebody's purchased the domain or what the heck is going on, but let me see here if I can
either
get
way,
this pulled up.
Either way, and even though he hates our guts, that's fine. I would encourage people to go and review his content because he put out good stuff.
Yeah, he did put out good stuff. Yeah,
he did. The only rock I would throw is that his fake. I'm going to call it a push poll. It wasn't it was a push poll. That's what it was. It wasn't a real deal. It was trying to move people.
Let me see here if I can get to. There we go. Finally got my screen deal to play nicely. Give me a second. Let me hit the magic button and I'll share it out. Let's see. So there it is. Bossier Now is back, and apparently he's publishing. I don't know if it's Howell or not, but apparently whoever it is publishing back on Substack. And look, I got to give him credit. I shared it out a little while back on Bossier Watch. He did write some pretty decent or a decent article about us at one time before we were dead to him.
Yeah, he did. He put out. He got mad at us. I mean, and I guess if I was him, I'd get mad at us too. But I mean, look, even as we found out in the past 2 weeks, even we are fair game.
Yes,
we are. You're in this game and you're talking about politics and you're dealing with it. You're out there. I mean, you're fair game. And he's no different, but he got mad and took his football and went home. But apparently he pulled his football out and he's ready to get back in the game. Good.
I don't know. So it says here, reported by original publisher editor Hal Bundrick, Bossier Now has made 2 previous efforts as a local news source. The first beginning in 2015, but both were aimed at being ad-supported. This time we're counting on subscribers only. So anyway, look, like we said from day one, and most of you know that have reached out to me about tech questions and kind of how we do all this stuff that we do, we're the first people to encourage and help people get more information out about Bossier. So even if we're still dead to Hal, and if that's Hal that is, breathing new life into Bossier now, we do wish Bossier now well.
Yeah. I mean, look, the more people talking about issues, which was been our whole deal in the beginning, is to be informative, to get people involved. I mean, whether we like them or not, more power to them. We want more people doing it.
Yeah, so I see our friend Mr. Weston Marriott is in the comments now. He just gave us an update to Parkway Beat and Acadus Central and District Basketball 5A. Do we want to try to have Wes on real quick before we close the show out to give an update, or we want to?
He can if he wants. And while you bring up school stuff, I did have something in notes that I wanted to share. We had gotten a message about the Bossier, that well, you just have to go to that message about tickets in the that cut.
Let me
But
do that. Let's see.
Somebody brought to our attention that apparently, there is consideration again about, you know how when you go to a football game or you go to a basketball game or whatever, you go up there and you pay them the little entry fee or what have you. Well, apparently there was an effort at some point about making it digital. And while I know, Rex, you hate killing trees, the environmentalist you are.
Yeah, Mr. Tree Hugger over here. I'm the guy with the chainsaw.
Yeah, you're that man. But, somebody sent us this message. They said, got a topic of discussion for you guys. Ever heard of local level events? Locallevelevents.com. I never heard of it. They said this is a private company that public schools, school boards are using to force parents to attend their kids' public school sporting events. You have to buy tickets online and have like a QR code like on your phone, like when you leave out of Sam's, if y'all use the app or something like that. Anyway, or you can't get in. On top of that, parents must pay a service fee every time they buy a ticket. Bossier, for now, has not made it mandatory, but Caddo and other parishes around us have. I've literally watched grandparents and other people get turned away at the gates because they don't do QR codes or don't have smartphones. The school still has to have, anyway, it was irrelevant after that. But the point is they were suggesting that Bossier was considering that again. Now, I don't know if that's accurate or not. We haven't reached out to Bossier, to the school, but we're putting it out there. If in fact they are considering this, y'all out there in the public, you need to know, and you need to let your school board people know. I got to tell you, I mean, look, I don't necessarily have a problem. I mean, look, I like to go to Sam's, buy all my food on the app, and then I walk out the door. They won't let me out. They scan my QR code and it lets me out. I can see this as if I don't want to be held up, to have to buy the little ticket to get in the gate at a football game. I can have the QR code, walk in, they can scan me and I can go in. But at the same time, damn, you can't restrict somebody that wants to show up, grandma or grandpa, that ain't hip with the times. Because what happens if Kara beats me up in the middle of the night in my other eye and I can't see to operate it? I mean, I want to be able to walk up to the thing and give me $5 and go in and watch the game with my good eye,
We're gonna have to get you a patch and we'll be pirates.
Yeah, but dang, you're gonna no, come on, it's got to be either or. You can't
look, and I agree with you. As much as I am into digital stuff and all things digital and all that sort of stuff, I agree that you still need to be able to offer cash. Cash is still legal tender, and cash is king. All right, so I'm trying to set this screen up. We've got Wes in there.
Okay, well, wait a minute, but I got to tell you, some of this crap. I mean, we're talking about the police jury too, but the school board. I got a link in the notes there where you pulled the cut number from, but there's something else that was pointed out to us, and I got to point this out. This is kind of problematic.
All right.
Oh, wait a minute. No, that's the wrong. Don't worry about that. That was just a link to. I apologize. Right. Lord, I apologize, as Ron White said. Anyway, all right. So I understand that kids are being charged to park if they drive a personal vehicle. kids are starting to be charged to park on school property if they drive themselves.
That's
Now, wait a minute.
ridiculous.
Think about that.
I mean,
all of us, whether you got kids going to public school or not, you're paying your taxes to build the damn concrete, to build the driveways, to build the roads going to these schools. And now they're charging kids to park on these properties?
well, they're just getting them ready for when they turn out to be adults, and you have to park on the city right away when you go over to Shreveport. That literally the tax dollars built. I mean, it's the same thing.
Okay.
I don't agree with it because I used to park my truck and boat at Ruston High, and we didn't get charged parking.
I mean, what the hell next? Are they going to charge them for breathing air that is within the geographical boundaries of
don't
the
give
school
them ideas.
system? I mean, good gosh, where the hell does this end? How much money do they need?
I'm gonna have to mute you. You're giving them ideas. Don't do that, Mr. Lowry.
Okay, I got to have somebody. I mean, look, she probably won't. But if the cheerleader wants to come on and explain it to me, and it's reasonable, if she wants to come on and explain it to me, I am dying to hear it. I would love that interview. That would be fun.
All right. So while I wait for that phone call, I'm not going to hold my breath. Let's go ahead and bring Mr. Weston Marriott. I've got him in the green room, so let me hit this button, and let's hope his audio comes up. Yes, it did. Can you hear us?
I can hear you fine. Can you hear me?
Absolutely, we can hear you. It's a miracle this worked. Okay, so I understand that was it a basketball game?
Yep, I'm pulled over in a safe spot, so I'm not talking while driving. But yeah, we were at the Parkway Natchitoches Central. It was a 5A district game in South Bossier tonight. Went into overtime. Parkway won by 2 against the number 4 seed. So it was a really exciting evening in South Bossier. It was a big win for the boys out there.
Well, cool deal. Yeah, you cover a lot of that on the Sobo Live channel, right?
Yep. We try to do football, basketball, soccer, wrestling, try to put a spotlight where they may miss out. But yeah, it was an awesome night in South Bossier. It was a big win.
All right. So here we go. I understand that, as most folks watching the show know, you've been involved in a few court cases with the city lately. And there's a hearing or something coming up. So why don't you educate everybody on what's coming up? And again, you already know the drill. Be careful what you say, blah, 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 in your court case, all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah, I had no idea that you were a party to the First Church, suit that'll be there tomorrow. I had no idea.
I think their hearing is next door. There's only 2 or 3 civil courtrooms, so there'll be a lot of action Thursday morning at 9:30 a.m. in the Bossier Parish Courthouse. Just to briefly touch on it, I would invite anybody that is interested in local government and seeing government in action to make a visit to the Benton Courthouse at 9:30 a.m. It's going to be on the 3rd floor. I don't know which courtroom. It'll be Judge Stahl's courtroom. But I'll have a summary hearing on my public records suit that I filed against Mayor Thomas Chandler and City Councilman David Montgomery. The lawsuit is not against them personally. It's against them in their official capacities as custodians of records. It's a very simple case. I asked for public records, and they didn't turn it over. There's been a lot of legal bullying. They've called for sanctions, and they're trying to get my pleadings dismissed. So I think Thursday we'll definitely see what it's like when a citizen petitions his government for a solution to a problem. I think we have a strong case. I mean, I asked for records. I didn't get them. So I don't know how it can go, but when it's the city of Bossier and the old Republic of Bossier, you never know. So I invite everyone to come out and see government in action Thursday morning.
All right. So if you win, let's say that you win. I don't know if that would be decided at this hearing or not, but let's say that you win the case. What are you trying to get the city to do? I mean, you trying to get money out of them, or are you trying to just get the records? What is the end goal?
I think the biggest thing that comes out of a victory is that in Bossier City and in Bossier Parish, a line in the sand will be drawn. If you do not follow the law, the citizens are educated and they will take action. I think that would be the biggest victory. This is not a case for money. It's not a case for excessive damages or anything like that. The law is very clear. I asked for a writ of mandamus, which is just a court order saying you have a job to do and you're required to do that job, and now we're ordering you to do it. There are civil penalties. They're very nominal. It's $100 per day that they don't turn over the records. Honestly, those things are pale in comparison to the large picture of if you fail to do your legal obligations, you will be held accountable. So that's what I'm looking for. That's what victory looks like for me.
And you're doing this pro se, correct? Which is where you're representing yourself. Did I use the right terminology there?
I filed it pro se. When it comes to trial, I believe that that may change. Okay. We'll have to see how this plays out.
Okay. We'll leave it at that. All right. Any other questions, Mr. Lowry?
Well, no, I think that a lot of folks, view this. Some people view it as, they can't quite put their finger on what Weston Marriott, what is this guy, what is his why? Why is he doing this or whatever, and then there's some people that are on the opposite side that just don't like Weston Marriott. And I've even heard that, oh, he's got an axe to grind with Bossier City. That's his why. That's why he's doing that, and then there's other people that they just don't quite know. I mean, what is Weston Marriott's why? I mean, Bossier Watch, Rex and Duke, some people say that we're just mad at the world and we hate air. I mean, I personally like air. I like to wake up in the morning. I'd rather my wife not beat me in my sleep, but, that's neither here nor there. But Weston Marriott, what's his why?
If the city and their representatives, the officials, the folks that are elected, and the people who are appointed, if they did their jobs and they followed the law, Weston Marriott would fade into obscurity and would not be a fly in the ointment for a single day longer. But they don't, and I'm stubborn. And when I feel the law allows us certain privileges as citizens for us to hold our elected officials accountable, and they fail in their obligations, somebody has to stand up. And that's what I'm doing. That's my why. If I don't do it, they'll continue to think that the citizens are uneducated and unprepared to hold them accountable. And I feel that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to hold them accountable to their legal obligations.
Good enough.
And you don't have to, again, what records have not been produced that you've asked for?
Well, to be 100% clear, I still have not received any of the records that I requested. The first time I saw them is when the city filed an exhibit stating, hey, here's the records he asked for. We sent them off to such and such. They didn't send them to me. But the records I'm asking for are the phone records for Rodney Taylor. He's the Director of Public Works for Bossier City, and phone records for David Montgomery. He's an at-large city councilman on July 8th, 2022. And that's the day that Red Rover received allegedly a malicious ticket that was directed by someone in city government. And trying to unravel that mystery, I requested those specific records from that day. And thus far, I have not received those records. Now, reviewing their exhibits, I did find that a phone number that is listed as David Montgomery's campaign finance disclosure personal phone number appeared 4 times in Rodney Taylor's call history on his city cell phone. But David Montgomery has not turned over his cell phone records to either corroborate or refute that he made those calls. But specifically, that's what I was looking for, is call logs for David Montgomery and Rodney Taylor.
All right, and to make it clear to the audience that may not know, the personal phone records of public officials are subject to public information requests when they are used in the official capacity of their duties as an elected official. So in other words, you don't care about David Montgomery calling, his best friend or whatever, but when he's calling somebody in an official capacity, then those are subject to sunshine laws.
Yeah, here's the thing. If you think about it like this, Rodney Taylor and David Montgomery both have city cell phones. Who pays for those cell phone bills? Those are taxpayer funded. We pay the bill. We have the right to see them. Now, if David Montgomery were to bypass that accountability by using his personal cell phone to conduct public business, then we should have the right to see who he's calling during the business day, when he's calling public officials, things like that. So if he's conducting public business and his cell phone is used to conduct public business, especially if he's bypassing using a city cell phone just so those records aren't created or tracked, then unfortunately the logs from his private cell phone become public records, and he becomes the custodian of those public records, and he's bound by the public records law and the obligations that requires.
Perfect explanation. All right. Anything else, Mr. Lowry?
No, that's all I got. The only thing that was sticking in my mind, talking about, cell phone records, it makes me think back about, when Shane McWilliams was let go. And I remember we, did a public information request for Shane McWilliams's cell phone logs. And I recall some of the, with the timeline, some of the phone numbers that we ran down. David Montgomery's number was one of the numbers that came up, that populated in Shane McWilliams's call log, immediately upon that happening, along with Brad Zagoni and to name a few others. But, it's interesting when you try to seek those records and the correlation of events and who was having activity during those timelines. I mean, I think it was a couple of shows ago, we were talking about Red Rover and who was on the phone, and we had overlooked the fact that one BJ Sanford had a role in the Red Rover thing, that, we kind of come to that conclusion.
And I'll drop a little tip to your viewers. If you review the call log that you guys released in your document drop, in the call log to Rodney Taylor was one BJ Sanford. So he called Rodney Taylor, which is odd, police supervisor and then director of public permits, right in the same window when David Montgomery called 4 times from his private cell phone. And then, in the matter of minutes or hours, Red Rover is receiving a citation from the Bossier City Police, when in the video we saw it was nothing. Even the sergeant on the scene said, "Hey, we're writing him a ticket over nothing." So there's a lot going on, and the public needs to hold these officials accountable. They need to know what they were doing that day, and releasing these records is a big part of finding out what happened.
Well, kudos to you for trying to force their hand through the court system when they're not doing what they're supposed to do.
What time is your case tomorrow, Weston, or Thursday?
It's going to be Thursday morning at 9:30, 3rd floor out in Benton, the Bossier Parish Courthouse.
I think I may come up there to watch. I mean, I got 2 courtrooms to jump back and forth to with good hot stuff. I mean, I need to go up there. I'm going to come listen to that.
Yeah, I think I may go visit with you too, Mr. Lowry. That sounds fun.
Well, we can split. Well, I mean, we can split duties. One of us can be in First Church duty, and one of us can be on Weston Marriott duty.
Yeah, and halfway through we'll switch, and then we can compare notes, and all that'd just be great fun.
Yeah, I'll save you guys a seat.
All right. Appreciate you coming on, Weston. I assume you're headed back to your bride, Danielle, and so many thanks to everything that y'all do for keeping an eye out for Bossier.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Have a great night. Appreciate you having me on.
All right. Talk to you later.
Thanks.
All right.
Bye. Wow. The magic of technology.
You just never know. Hey, before we're wrapping this thing up, and we appreciate everybody hanging in here so long. Actually, this has been a good night because we've really been able to clean up a lot of stuff and get a lot of things off our clean the slate, per se.
Yes. Well, that should be the title of the show, Cleaning the Slate.
Yeah, it should have been. Hey, the police jury took over the library, right?
Right.
And remember, so in our last show, we really kind of highlighted a lot of the stuff about the library, that the takeover, and, that if you'd seen what was going on there, how could any Republican, y'all remember all that, right? So, Hey, I got a link in the notes to something that I wanted to share. I just happened to come across.
All right, give me a minute. Let's see, a link in the notes. Which link is it? The Facebook story?
Yep.
Give me a second and I'll get to work on that.
just the, and it wasn't that I was looking for this, but I mean, I don't know if it was God's will or what, but it just happened to pop up in my feed, and I came across this, and I thought it pertinent to point out, where or bad link.
Well, yeah. So either I can't see it as me or bossierwatch. Can you share your screen real quick? And
Yep. Stand by. Give me a second.
through the
Bam. Now we should be good.
The magic of clickery. Now let me make sure I can get share Duke's screen. Oh, well, that's not Duke's screen. Hold on a second. Let's see if I can do a little clicking here and change it. Wait, where's Duke's screen? Hold on a second.
Oh. Folks, hang on. There ain't no telling what you're going to get shared out here in a minute. Rex is going to, who knows?
This could definitely be interesting. Maybe it's a camera. Oh, look, there's me again. Hold on just a second, folks. Here we go. All right. Now, let me just make it a little larger. There we go. How about that?
Yeah, okay. So this was your former library director who the police jury raided in and gotten rid of. And I'm not saying they were right, they were wrong, but for whatever reason, this popped up in my feed. And I thought it was interesting to share. She had moved on to a place called the DeSoto Public Library, which is not DeSoto Parish in Louisiana, but apparently in Texas.
Good for her.
She made a post and was talking about, the people that were working with her and all, but more importantly, that the DeSoto Public Library in DeSoto, Texas, had received the 2023 Achievement of Library Excellence Award from the Texas Municipal Library Directors Association. Well,
cool.
It got me to wondering, what about Bossier? Have we got any awards?
Well, I don't know I guess if there's an award for kicking old ladies off that are putting terrible books in the library that only the police jurors such as Juliana Parks can save us from award, maybe they could get that one.
But they haven't saved us.
Well, yeah, and see, you made me say something bad about Juliana tonight. I was going to try to do only positive things. Gummit, Duke.
Right. Well, anyway, that was all. I just wanted to point that out. I thought it was interesting. The person that we ran off is over there at their next place getting awards for their library district. Not saying right or wrong. I'm just saying, looks like the one that was vilified is apparently getting awards at another place.
All right. What else can we ramble on about? I think we're about done.
I think we're done as well. I mean, we have beat this mule to death. Unless anybody in the comments, do y'all have anything else that you want us to torture you about?
While we're letting people think about that, Christopher James Norris says, "What about doing a special edition of Bossier Watch Thursday night?" We're not going to do that because we're probably this Thursday, we'll post it and let everybody know, going to do our Fire Up Louisiana Watch again. So that's either going to be next Thursday or maybe even this Thursday. We're trying to put some topics together and get that kicked off this Thursday night. So we'll make sure and let everybody know if that's what we're going to do. And I promise this time we're not going to have an identity crisis. We're starting out with Louisiana Watch and Louisiana Watch graphics only on Thursday nights. And we're going to start out at show number 101 for Louisiana Watch and go north from there. We're not having an identity or show number crisis this time.
Yeah, so for those of you on Bossier Watch, if you could, go on over, if you haven't already, go on over to Louisiana Watch, like and follow that page. And the idea is we get a lot of requests for us to, get involved in issues like, let's say, Shreveport or DeSoto Parish, Webster, even South Louisiana. We get people that say, hey, why don't y'all come? We need your help on this issue. So we said, I tell you what, we're gonna we're gonna do that, but we can't do it under Bossier Watch because somebody, let's say in central Louisiana or Lafayette Parish or Webster or DeSoto, they don't care about Bossier. That's not appealing to them. So that was where the Louisiana Watch thing come from.
Right.
And yeah.
Yeah, and so we can kind of cover also more national topics that aren't necessarily Bossier specific. And I want to be clear, Bossier Watch is not going anywhere. We're just adding back into the mix Louisiana Watch, and who knows what else we can come up with. Now, we're going to do basically the same things we're doing with Bossier Watch. We'll be on YouTube as well as Twitter also, and there would be a podcast version. So same format that y'all are used to here, just, different graphics, our Louisiana Watch logo and all that, and some different subject matter that will certainly be related to Bossier, but more widespread, let's say.
Yeah, and our intent is to get a lot of different, politicos. For example, we are going to have John Nicholson already on Louisiana Watch and over in Caddo Parish running for sheriff. We have him as a scheduled guest. We've got numerous other statewide elected officials that we're, lining up as we speak, and as well multiple legislators from across the state that we're going to have discussions about with the special crime, session, as well as the regular session. Again, all of that stuff will be on Thursday because here's the thing, all of us are having problems with issues. Insurance, I mean, everybody raise your hand. How many people have issues with insurance? How many people have issues with the roads, with this and that? I mean, it's not a problem that is just unique to Bossier. It's a problem that everybody in the whole state of Louisiana has. And we need more discussion from a wider range of people. And of course, my wife, the
she gotta promote the businesses that are paying the light bills for everything. So that's right. So we'll take a break for just a second and remind everybody that Miss Kara, your lovely bride, has a Facebook group. So if you need some mortgage information, go over there and see her. How about that?
Absolutely.
All right. Anything else?
That's all I got, Uncle.
That's it. We're out of here. We appreciate everybody watching. We still got over 60 people watching at, 2 hours and 12 minutes. And honestly, we didn't have a lot of topics to cover tonight. Nothing, no real fireworks tonight. But we appreciate all of you watching. Make sure and go over and watch or like and follow Louisiana Watch and keep up with us over there on Thursday nights as well. And again, whatever else we can dream up, well, we're going to launch some of that stuff too. What do you think, Mr. Lowry?
Have a good night.
All right. We're out of here. See y'all later, everybody.